Hi, I'm Rob at SY8 Productions, and this tutorial is on how to record a drum kit. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the microphones I used and then show you where I placed them. So first mic, overhead, and that was an NT2000 made by Rode, wide diaphragm condenser microphone set in omnidirectional. Reason behind that is because I want to capture the overall sound of the kit rather than just focusing on a particular area of it in, say, such as a cardioid mode. Now, with Omni set in place, I raise it so it's pretty much as high as it will go, so it's touching the ceiling, but actually jammed with a piece of acoustic foam between the ceiling and the microphone, and that helps diffuse any unwanted sort of early reflections and things like that. Okay, so with that in place, which is a mono overhead as opposed to a stereo pair to reduce sort of phase issues. However, I do use a left and a right microphone, but very much to the side of the drum kit rather than above. It's sort of to the side and underneath, so that creates the stereo spread I want. And for that, I use a Octave MK012, and they're fantastic little slim diaphragm microphones, and they're also condenser, but they're very slim. I use the omnidirectional heads on them. It creates a slightly softer sound, and again, rather than focusing on one particular small area of the kit, it focuses on pretty much one complete side, so it captures a bit of the snare as well as the hi-hat on one side, and the ride area will also capture a bit of the floor toms. And I place them underneath the cymbals as opposed to above. I just like that sound. It's not so harsh, not so ringy, and they're sort of a couple of feet away from the actual cymbals. So those are the left and right mics, and then I use a D112 for the kick drum, placed inside the hole, and that's angled about 45 degrees pointing towards the beater. And I also use a pillow. Some people don't like that, but I love that sound of a pillow in a kick drum. So that's placed touching both heads, and I use a tin of paint to hold it in place. It doesn't really hold the cushion in place that much, it doesn't move too much, but it's actually not tin of paint, it's an empty tin of paint once upon a time, and then I filled it with builder's sand, and that helps create a bit more mass, and it diffuses the sound a little bit, and it just creates a nice sound to the kick drum. And that's something I picked up from the great drummer Simon Phillips. Thank you very much. That's a really good trick, and it works so well. And then I used Shure SM57s on the snare drum and the toms, a couple of inches away from the head, aimed towards the center, and that's pretty much it on the drums. And then you'll see that on the next clip that it will zoom around to the opposite side of the room, where I've used an NT2A, which is a great condenser mic again, and that's just there to capture the room sound from the opposite side of the room to the actual drum kit. So that's pretty much it. So now you'll see the actual setup in place, and then we'll move on to editing, etc. So enjoy. Okay, this is the mono overhead, directly in line with the centre of the snare, touching the ceiling with acoustic foam to diffuse the sound in Omni mode. And a D112 kick drum mic pointed about 45-degree angle towards the beater, just inside the kick. And there's the Octave MK012, lovely mic for right and left sides, and overheads of course, but I like these as sort of what I call underheads because they're actually under the cymbals as opposed to above the cymbals. Short SM57s on the snare and the toms, pointing to the centre, a few inches above the skin, and another Octave on the left hand side to pick up the ride from underneath, and a little bit of floor tom. And swinging round to the trusty old NT2A as my room mic, and that's pretty much it.